Hello dear learners, welcome to the first module of the lecture series on web designing, its fundamentals and concepts. This is the only domain where anyone, irrespective of their stream, either commerce, science or even arts, can learn it. For the students pursuing a higher education program, this is the right time to upskill themselves and upgrade their CV. I am Prabha Biju Chacko from the Department of Computer Applications, BSSS, Bhopal. The learning outcome of this module is Overview on Web Development, under which we are going to learn building blocks of web development, types of web developer, static and dynamic websites, website builders, programming languages used to build a website, and you will also come to know what is sitemap. And at the end of this module, we will discuss about the outline of lecture series. Moving on to the first part of this module, that is building blocks of web development. As you can see that there are 5 building blocks to develop a website. The very first one is structure. This is the stage where structure can be defined of the website. The second is design and styling. It takes care of the appearance and the presentation of the website. After deciding the structure and the designing and styling part, making the page interactive is the third important block. This is in this block we add the functionalities and make the page interactive. Coming to the fourth block, that is database. To store the data systematically and retrieve it whenever it is required in future, we go for database. So this database can be stored in server, which is kept in the data center. And the third block is server-side language. Server-side languages are used to create web pages or HTML pages on the server side, and it also makes the page responsive. These server-side languages provide various special libraries that can be used to create HTML pages. These building blocks can be divided into 2 parts. The first part includes the first 3 blocks. They are called front-end development, and the second part is called back-end development. So the front-end development includes structure, designing and making the page interactive, and the back-end part is database and server-side language. Back-end provides the power to the front-end, and front-end takes care of the visual aspect of your website. As you have seen in the previous slide that there are 2 parts of web development, that is front-end development and back-end development. Front-end developer takes care of structuring, designing and interactive part of the website, whereas back-end developer takes care of database and server-side programming. And full stack developer includes both the job of front-end developer and back-end developer. Coming to the next part, that is types of web pages or website. There are 2 types of websites, static and dynamic. Static web page is created using client-side language, which is available in the client-side machine, whereas dynamic website built using server-side language and technologies. Each page on a static website is stored as a single file available on the client-side machine, and in dynamic website, content of each page to be delivered and displayed dynamically. Data may be stored temporarily using variables. It can be it will be lost as soon as page expires. Data is organized in a database or backend content management system under dynamic website. Examples of static websites are like resume, some personal websites, and dynamic websites are Instagram, YouTube, Netflix and Amazon. This slide is talking about website builders. Website builders are the software which gives some ready-made tools. These website builders are like WordPress, Site Builder, Yola, Squarespace. These are the ready-made tools that makes it easy to develop a website. So what is the requirement of having programs to develop website? Let us see the difference between the website development with coding and without coding. With coding, you can have lots of customization. You can design your website according to your choice, according to your desire. Whereas without coding, you can have very few customization. With coding, you can have uniqueness in your website, but without coding, there won't be any uniqueness. With coding, your website will be fast and efficient, and without coding, it will go very slow. With coding, there can be less code as you will be writing program according to your requirement, and without coding, there will be unnecessary coding, because this has been designed to fulfill the requirement of n number of clients. So, web developer prefers using programming to develop website. So, as we have seen the benefits of developing website using coding, let us now see what are the various languages that helps in building website. The very first part is structuring. For structuring, HTML, that is hypertext markup language, is used. It actually encapsulates or marks up the text of your website into the HTML tag. So, it is actually known as markup language. Second one is designing and styling. For designing and styling, CSS is used. It stands for Cascading Style Sheet, and they are also known as style sheet language. CSS is used to make your website attractive. Next is for making your website interactive and web content, JavaScript is used. JavaScript is scripting language. It is used both for front end and back end scripting. For designing database and maintenance of database, we make use of MySQL, and we can also make use of any SQL program like Oracle. Last part is server-side coding. For the server-side coding, we make use of PHP, Java, Python. There are n number of server-side programming language. Now, let us know about the sitemap. A sitemap is a file where you provide information about the pages, videos and other files. It actually gives the complete structure of your website. As you can see here, the home page has 3 to 4 links, that is product, cart and account, and product has sublink, that is categories. Categories has 3 links, that is collection, featured and clearance. So, it gives the clear picture that how many links are there in your website. It gives the clear picture of the structure of your website, and these structure are also referred by the search engines like Google to read your file and to crawl your site more efficiently. So, this was about the overview of web development. I just want to add one more thing here, that the difference between web designing and web development. Web development includes the entire building blocks. Here I would like to add one more thing, that there is a difference between web designing and web development. Web development takes care of the entire blocks, all the 5 blocks, whereas web designing is concerned about the first 3 blocks, that is structuring, designing and making the page interactive. So, in this lecture series, we will be taking care of web designing part. Now, let us discuss about the outline of lecture series. This lecture series is divided into 4 parts, that is introduction, HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So, in the introduction part, I will tell you about how web works. We will discuss some web terminologies, types of websites and web hosting. In the second part of lecture series, we will learn about HTML, its basic elements and attributes, forms and its elements, and you will then come to know how to structure a website. Third part is about CSS. In CSS, you will learn about basics, selectors and properties of CSS, advanced concept of CSS and responsive design and media query. And the last part is about JavaScript. In JavaScript, we will be learning syntax and basic concepts, events of JavaScript, form validation. So, these are the 4 parts of our lecture series on web designing. Have a great learning.